Okay, so eliminate the grandma issue family ring.
Well, in this story, the grandma's been eliminated.
Well, I hope it was a good elimination. Yeah, he's an asshole.
Okay.
Vibing and thriving. Vibing and thriving.
This episode of We Are New is brought to you by Legitimints, the best mints that are legitimate. Legitimints, too legitimate to quit a mint.
Why?
I don't understand how that works. I got a new sign-in on my Hulu account.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Where's
my
the
ex-girlfriend
location?
who doesn't talk to me anymore still uses my Hulu account.
Do you think it's her?
Yeah, because it says, "Hi Rob, we spotted a new device login to your account," and it says like what, where, when, who, and the where says San Antonio, which is weird because I don't know why she would be there, but she's moving around a lot for work now, so maybe that's part of it. When today, and then the what is just her name.
Really?
So yeah, it's definitely her.
Wow.
Enjoy the Hulu, dear. I'm happy. I'm happy for you to have it. At this point, I've kicked her off it so many times, like reset the
Really?
accounts, and she keeps logging into it, but I've never changed the password. Because I was like, maybe just kicking her off of it is enough since we don't talk anymore. And she'll be like, oh, I'm not going to log back in. She don't give a shit. She needs her streaming.
She needs that Hulu support from you, babe.
Well, and it's the ad-free version. So I really go out of my way for my exes to make sure they have everything they need in this life. And it's hard, as I understand it,
I'm
to
just
not
kidding. I
be
don't
with
care.
me anymore. Like, it's a really uphill situation. You've done that a few times. It was tough, right? To, like, not be with me. But you don't have to deal with that now. And you get the Hulu.
I get all the streaming stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The
What's
Hulu,
up,
the
baby?
Apple, the HBO.
Hey, we got
Discovery
Disney Plus.
Plus.
Discovery Plus. If it's got a plus, we've got it. Except for Paramount Plus. Who's buying that?
Yeah.
I don't need that
And
shit.
stars. We don't need stars.
Yeah, I guess there's a bunch we don't
stars
have.
with the Z.
How you doing, babe?
Hey, babe.
What's up?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. It's been a good week. I've been working a lot. Doing a lot of different editing for this show, for the other show. My other podcast, At the Elephants, that I'm working on bringing back. I think I've done like 6 interviews for that already.
Yes.
So
I'm so excited for you to relaunch that.
yeah, we got the main full-length episodes will be here on this channel on We Are New Studios. And then there'll be clips and stuff on the old YouTube. We'll put the clips, driving them in. But it's been really fun. I got to
Very
talk to a bunch of my
exciting.
friends
Yeah.
and catch up with some people that I haven't talked to in like 10 years,
Wow.
which is the thing I love about that show. Like, it keeps me connected to people for this arbitrary reason of we went to school together, and I do a podcast where I talk to people who went to that school. So I have this like
Yeah.
automatic excuse that doesn't feel quite like, can you imagine not talking to someone for 10 years and they hit you up and they're like, let's do a Zoom call to catch up? I mean, that might be cool, but you might be a little like, why? What are they up to? Not in a
Sure.
bad way, but like,
Yeah, just a long time.
yeah,
10
it
years
just
is a
feels
long time.
fucking random.
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey, I'm relaunching the show and you know that I do that show, so like, do you want to come do that show? They're like, oh, sounds great. And it immediately neutralizes the weirdness.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anything new with you? How's school and studying social work and therapy, and how's that going?
Overall, it's good.
Nice.
Still the beginning of the term. So check in with me in a couple weeks.
Right.
Probably be going crazy, but
Right.
it's part of grad school, you know?
Hey, baby, that's how we do.
But it's been good. This past week, I was able to catch up with one of my best friends. It's always so great seeing him and getting ice cream, which is our ritual anytime he's in town.
This is like your oldest friend who was your man of honor at our wedding.
Yes.
How they doing?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Things are good in Columbia. That's
really
in New York.
loving the Columbia move. Really enjoying school and all the learning. And he's such a nerd. He's a school nerd. So
I can't relate to that. We'll have to have him on the show and talk about that because I don't get that.
Sure.
Kyle, were you like good at school? Have we ever talked about this? Did you like do well in classes?
So I was the kid that was good at school in the sense that like I got everything pretty quickly, and so most of it was pretty easy for me. So I coasted through through most of school.
You're like a B- guy.
Yeah, B-, B+. I mean, I would get A's in certain classes that I cared about, but if it was like a class I didn't care about, then I just did the minimum. That I didn't like getting C's, so if it was like a B or an A, I'd put a little bit of effort into it, but I definitely could have applied myself more.
All right, worst class, best class. Everybody go. Kyle first.
The best class that I remember that always stuck with me was a marketing econ class because the teacher was amazing, and it really.
Are you including electives?
Yeah. I mean, I could say my senior year, I had like I think we called it like lifetime skills or something, and we like literally
lifetime skills.
We like played dodgeball. We went scuba diving one time in like this big pool. It was just like random shit.
It was like a big team building class.
Yeah,
like when you have corporate team building.
Yeah, and like half the time, if it was like the weather wasn't nice to go outside, we'd watch a fucking movie.
That's blow off city, dude.
Yeah, so I don't really count that as like a class that where I go to learn something. But
like,
we're actually like enjoyed the
marketing
class
and econ.
I would have never guessed that to be your favorite.
His favorite class is marketing, and we got to pull teeth, get him to share these reels over here.
What's your least favorite?
But the thing is that
not enough econ for you.
But it was a marketing class first semester, and the second it was like marketing econ.
Okay.
But I learned a lot in that, and that's a lot of stuff that stuck with me, like understanding what demographics means and like how to appeal to like how advertisements appeal to specific demographics. And so it stuck with me in a way that anytime I watch anything, like advertisements, movies, anything, I think about that stuff now and I think about what the thought process was in making, like if I see something that's like weird, I'm like, why would they do that in that? Like that was a stupid commercial. And I think a room of people had to have sat down and talked about this.
Were you a big Mad Men guy when that came out?
I never watched it actually.
Oh man, you should watch. That's what that show's about.
Yeah, I definitely mean to, but it by the time I found out about it, there was already like 6 seasons.
It's like that, and it's about fucking.
Yeah,
and also whiskey. I think those are the 3 things it's about.
And misogynists, right? Misogyny.
Didn't I say that?
You said like fucking.
Yeah, marketing, fucking, and whiskey. I think I covered the misogynist part. That's implied.
That all kind of.
What was your worst class?
My worst class?
Did you have a class where you just like felt dumb? You're like, I don't get this. Be honest. Are we being honest? Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. I can't think of anything off the top. Probably my last year of high school. I only went to. I had
the whole year.
I had one. Yeah, the whole year. I only had one class at the high school because I dual enrolled at my community college.
Ooh, look at the big brain on Kyle.
Wow.
The first semester. Well, like I said, I got just good enough grades to be able to do things like that. But
that sounds more like an A kind of does his work kind of move to be enrolled in college while still in high school. You were doing that as a coaster?
It's a lot easier to do than you think. I think the minimum GPA is not that
different
high.
Schools and different strokes, I guess.
What
was your worst class?
I was going to say, so that class I needed one more like math credit, and the only one I think they had was like something called business math. And I actually really, really enjoyed like algebra. I like doing equations and stuff, or I did. I haven't done it in forever. But I enjoyed solving equations, so I liked math. And so I thought, okay, I can do this. But whatever the fuck business math was, that was one of the few classes that I had to like. I also didn't show up a lot because it
sounds like a practical application class, but like what you're doing, like interest on sales and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like balancing like
books
and shit, and it was
it's like an accounting class.
Essentially, it was, and again, it was first period, and my
first thing in the morning trying to balance the budget.
My first class at the college was at like 11 a.m. or something like that. So it's like I wake up at 6 a.m., go to the 7 o'clock class, go back home and sleep, and then go to the college. So I missed. I actually almost didn't get the credit because I missed too many classes.
Wow.
Not making Secretary of the Treasury, Uncle Kyle. Got it.
But I also missed a week because I was filming a movie at the time.
Oh,
that's a
so
story
talented.
for another time. But
left brain, right brain over here. What about you, babe? Worst class, best class?
Oh, worst class, hands down, is chemistry.
Okay.
Fucking hated chemistry.
What was it about that? Was it like the equation balancing stuff?
Woo! It was just another language, it felt like.
Yeah.
I was so
a lot of
lost.
Stuff that doesn't come up before you get there.
Oh, so lost. Thankfully, I took it in summer school because I didn't want to take it for a whole school year. That sounded like
a
even worse. Yeah. So I think it was like an 8-week. Yeah.
All right.
And I had to get a tutor because that was the only way I was going to pass.
It's like a tight nightmare.
It was that bad.
Tightmare.
And my teacher was like one of the toughest ones at the high school, and he was really nice, but he, was a very harsh grader. So it didn't matter if he liked you or not. You still were going to get the grade you
How many classes were you getting by on before then because they liked you? That sounded like you got to that point and you were very disappointed. You're like, wait, this is not how this normally goes. Normally I'm like a B plus, but you like me, so I'm an A minus.
No. Normally I was a pretty good student overall.
Okay.
I don't think I did like the bare minimum. Like I put in effort. My family might think otherwise, but I did. Like I didn't take all the minimum requirements.
But you weren't fitting that like stereotypical left brain Asian thing where you're just like crushing every class and taking it very seriously.
To answer my best class was choir.
Right.
Just all things choir. I always took summer school so I can take an extra choir. So I had 2 choirs during the school year.
What does it mean when you have 2 choirs? How are you in 2 choirs?
So
are you in take junior again when you're a senior or something?
So there were 3 different choirs. There was the beginning level. So I took that my freshman year.
Okay.
And then maestoso is the mixed choir. So it was boys and girls.
Sorry, some fancy language.
Yeah. Harmony was the beginning all girls choir. And then
they just picked music words and named each choir after them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then Vivace was the advanced women's choir. You had to audition to get in there. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. I was in all 3 of those choirs.
Cursing the chemistry.
Chemistry. And then I think a tie would be music theory as well. Like
as a negative, you didn't like that? But you're like pretty good at that shit.
Yeah, I'm good at musicianship. But music theory is different. Musicianship is more like sight singing, the scales, the like major third, minor third. Like,
and what the fuck is music theory? Because that's what I thought all that was.
Music theory is more mathematical based. So you get into like why it goes from like a 4 chord to like a 5 chord, and it honestly gave me flashbacks of chemistry. And like Kyle said, this class was at 8 a.m. So like that was torture.
Why do they do that? I feel like that's a thing. They'll be like, you can run around and play dodgeball in the afternoon, but the morning has to be like crunching numbers. I feel like I've never met a teenager who's good at that. I know people who are in their 20s and into their 30s and 40s who are like, I'm there right now. I get up in the morning, give me about an hour to wake up, but then I'm about the sharpest I'm going to be. Mm-hmm. And I stay that way till like 11 a.m. Yeah. And then I start to fall off. And then by like 2 or 3 p.m., I'm kind of usually starting to be not my best. Mm-hmm. And I remember growing up not being that way. It's like my brain didn't fucking work until noon, like at all. Everything in the morning, which is most of school. I was like, I don't know what we're doing here. It was a mess.
I think now they're schools are trying to make school later.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Because it's just not, like you said, like it's not beneficial for these kids.
Well, it was designed so that the parents can go to work.
Right.
You have to be able to get the kids to school before you're due at work. So if the kids are due at school at 7 or 8, then you can be at your 9 or 10 o'clock job on time. Usually that's the idea.
It's also designed to like condition kids to get ready for the work world.
Yeah, but that means all kinds of things. Yeah. Why would you prep all the kids for starting work at 7:30 in the morning when that's like, how many people have to do that? I've had a lot of jobs in my life. Very few of them do we have to be there at as early as school. I will say my high school, I went to 3, but my first high school had the best hours. We were 9 to 4. So I think there was shit at the school before 9, but the standard like first period, like bell period. Of the whatever. Yeah, there might have been, well, I don't think we had 0 period, but we also had block schedule at that school. So my freshman year totally changed. Like middle school was like, I don't know, we probably had 7 or 8 periods a day. When we had 8 periods a day and we had every class every day.
8. Wow. I think I had 6.
My final high school, we had 9.
Oh my God.
For real. We had 9 periods, and I mean 1 to 9. And then my second high school, we had 9, but one of them was 0. And that was like if you were in swimming, if you were in like, something early, which not a lot of people had. So even that one was 9.
Yeah.
But no, my first high school, McNeil High School in Round Rock, Texas, I went from 8th grade being like what a lot of people describe as their normal experience, what we just said, like 8 periods a day. You're in each one for maybe an hour or whatever, a little less, 50 minutes. I think it was like 50 minutes or 55 plus a passing period of 5 minutes, and that was each period. And when I went to high school, all of a sudden we had block schedules. So Monday was like 4 periods, each are an hour and a half. You have 2 classes, lunch, 2 classes. And it was 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., which was later than almost like any school I've ever gone to or taught at since then. Yeah. And that was the best one. It was so, I remember being so fucking happy. Not that I did my homework, but I was so happy that Monday's homework wasn't due until Wednesday. Oh my God. I don't have one night to do everything every time. Oh my God. And when you had Thursday class and your shit wasn't going to be due till Monday. Oh my God, game changer.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And you got more time. And as a kid with ADD, the long classes got a lot longer, obviously.
Sure.
But all of a sudden you get 90 minutes to go to theater class or band or whatever you're doing. Like, it was good. I think block schedule is a better way to go.
I really enjoy block schedule also.
I enjoyed that too when I was a teacher because I only taught on Mondays and Fridays. And I would come in the middle days sometimes to help out or catch up on paperwork. But I only had class on Mondays and Fridays. And so kids always had at least 2 days, if not 3 days in between my classes. So it was cool to send them away with like, think about this. I should answer the question, then we'll start the show.
Yeah.
Best class was definitely theater as a class. If we're going more the KYLE route and talking about real classes, I was you know what's so funny is I was really good at math, like particularly good at math, especially if it was practical math. I wasn't good at theory math where you're like literally trying to figure out theorems and like what if equations. And then when I was a senior, when I was a senior, because I moved a bunch, I was way behind on credits. So senior year, I took a bunch of different shit. Then I had a weird schedule. I was in like, I was taking freshman biology. I was taking sophomore geometry at the same time I was taking a senior level math course for dummies. That was like, they called it math modeling, which was like, instead of algebra 2, you're like not smart enough for that shit. And the thing was, I got put in all the classes based on my homework grades, not my test scores. So I had like test scores to be with all the smart kids, but my homework grades would be factored in. And they're like, you can't handle the workload and we want you to graduate. So we're going to put you in the dumb class where everything will be easy, but there's not going to be a lot asked of you overall. And I was like, that's a deal. So I was in math modeling, which really ended up being like a trigonometry class, but not theoretical. It was all practical. It was like that old school word problem where they're like, he's going this way at this speed, he's going this way at that speed, where are they going to meet?
Yeah.
The satellite fell out of Earth and we know this angle of the triangle, so triangulate the... And I was great at that. That was like, here's your roadmap equation to solve the problem. Here's a situation with the numbers. Figure out where those numbers fit in the equation and then basically plug it in and execute it. I was like pretty fucking dope at that. Always very good at math.
Yeah, I agree. I loved that.
I ate shit at English, which is hilarious to me because I think like the English language is maybe one of the things I'm best at in my life.
But English class always had a lot of like homework.
A lot of homework that fucked me, and also
reading.
In the reading assignments were bad, but also because I had the ADD that was like medicated, but didn't really solve this problem. My big thing was even my test scores for like standardized tests would be shit with reading because it would be like, read this passage. All right, what did you just read? And I'd be like, I need to start over. And I got really good at taking those tests by looking at the questions first.
Like context clues.
Yeah, I would go read the questions first. Then I would go back to the story and I would just like not really get a story experience out of it.
Yeah.
But I'd be like,
skim through it.
Yeah, I'd be like, where did he live? Boom, Syracuse. Got it. That's the end. Like, that's how I took all those tests. And I would still get them wrong. Because they would say Syracuse, but that was just like him being like, I once went to Syracuse. And then in a different words, it's like I was from a farm. And that was the answer they were looking for.
They're trying to trap you.
Yeah. And I fell for the trap so bad.
That's going to be my licensing exam. I already know it. And
for the therapy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Dude,
it's going to be great. It's really going to give me great flashbacks.
My favorite class I ever had that was academic was, and I really liked history too. I don't have any really interesting stories about that, but I really liked history. But my shit was geometry, senior year.
Ugh.
Oh, it was the best. So like I said, I'm particularly good at practical math, and geometry is one of the more practical maths, even when you're talking in theory. It's very like, look at this shape, put these over here. What's that one? Pythagorean shit. And I don't know why I like clicked with that so well. So senior year, I'm about to graduate and they're like, so you have 1 math credit. You have 1 year left. And of the last 3, because you really only have to take math the first 3 years. You don't have to take it senior year, most people. Like if you don't want to take pre-cal or whatever, you do, algebra 1, algebra 2, maybe a pre-cal or whatever. You take 3 years of it and you're good. Or, algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, whatever the thing is. And because I moved around, by the time I'm starting my senior year, I'm supposed to have 3 credits under my belt and I only have 1.
Damn.
So they're like, how are we going to get you out in time? You literally don't have time to take 3 years of math in 1 year. So they're like, we're going to put you in sophomore geometry with all the sophomores, and then we'll put you in this math modeling class at the same time. So senior year, I took 2 maths when everyone else was done. But math modeling was kind of interesting to me. And it was awesome because it was literally it was at Pflugerville High School. I was the only, one of 2 white guys in my 15-person class. It was all black friends and Mexican friends, way more interested in telling jokes and cutting up than having fun because we're all the dummies. We're not good at this and we know that. And we're there just cutting up and making fun of each other. It was like imagine a room full of Aussie moons. That was the whole class. It was just us dicking around and Mr. Zapata being like, come on, we have to finish this today. So that was math modeling, which was great. And then geometry was taught by the swim coach. And he had the most formulaic, system of learning geometry. You would come into class. You would have a 5-question warm-up quiz that was based on yesterday's work.
Yeah.
He would put a little thing on the overhead projector that was your lesson for the day. And it involved 10 questions. And then you would get a sheet that was your homework. That was 15 questions of whatever the lesson was. And I made a deal with him where I told him at the beginning of the year, I was like, so sometimes I help the theater teacher set up stuff for the play and build stuff for the musical. If I get all 3 of those things done, can I just leave and go to the theater room and help her out and not sit in here for the rest of the class? And so this was a 50-minute class, every day I would knock out my assignment in like 8 minutes. I would do the quiz, I would do the lecture thing, and I would do the homework, all of them real quick. I would go hand them to him at his desk.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm good. He's like, all right, see ya.
Wow.
And he would just let me fuck off for the rest of the period. And it was 4 doors down from the theater room. So it wasn't even like a trek across campus. I would just go, and I didn't have anything to do in there most days. I would just go hang out on the couch, talk to my theater teacher. She was in off period.
Yeah.
That was the fucking best. And I remember thinking like, man, if more of school had been like geometry, just like, can you just make me a deal? Just cut me a deal because I'm special. Let me go home. I'll do all the work and then let me go. And if more of my classes had been structured that way, I would have had great grades.
I have to say that I think a lot of the teachers that are more willing to do that were always the coaches.
Yep.
And I love, it's so funny that like coaches are always have to teach some class.
Yeah.
I had a couple that were
history,
were
geometry, something.
I had a history teacher that was a football coach. Yeah. And they just, most of the time, this guy took it pretty seriously, but he was very lackadaisical about many other things that other teachers would not let you get away with.
Gotta love that. I wish more school was just like that. They were like, the way he looked at it was like that old Denzel Washington quote that I love, where he says he's had a bunch of different jobs. He had been a garbage man and worked in an office, and he would almost rather be the garbage man because when you're a garbage man, if you have 8 hours of work and you get it done in 5, you get to go home. You're done. But when you work in an office, you only have 5 hours of work and you have to make it last 8.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, it's excruciating. Yeah. Just
Terrible.
let me benefit from my own efficiency and pay me the same either way.
Geometry was another class I needed a tutor.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
I got you, babe. You ready to start the show?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Vibing and thriving, vibing and thriving, vibing and thriving, vibing and thriving. I'm excited now.
Fuck that. Suck that. Fuck that. Suck that. Fucking nuts.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to We Are New still. We got our shirts.
Yes.
This is episode 22. You had the great idea before we rolled today. You said we should wear our 21 shirts.
Right.
Even though the last episode was 21. It's a good idea, and I don't want to waste it. So here we are, 22 episodes in, wearing shirts that say 21. We're new.
I miscalculated. But these are great shirts.
They are great shirts. They are a nice purple and gold. It kind of reminds me of Legends of the Hidden Temple, which we were talking about the other day. It's got those same colors, and it has our name on the back. It says Morris.
Yes.
Where did we get these shirts? You want to shout her out?
Yeah. One of my bridesmaids, Bea, she got these made for our wedding.
Nice.
And the reason why it's 21, she debated between 21 and 22 because we got married in 2022, but we actually got married in 2021. So she decided to go with 21.
We got our Vegas date.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Can you believe our 1 year is coming up?
Yeah. Super exciting. Are we going to go back to Vegas and celebrate our anniversary?
Hell yeah.
I think it's the thing to do. I'd like to do that for probably a few years. What better place to have as an anniversary spot than Las Vegas? I mean, especially in LA. It's right over there.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty
You
good.
just need to rent a car or
Yeah.
fly.
We don't need to rapid gate our way to Las Vegas. Because it would be. It's a lot farther than Palm Springs. Yeah. Like 4 times as far.
It would be a nightmare. It would not be worth it. Just get the rental car.
Yeah, 100%. It's like a fucking, just like a nightmare, and you can't wake up.
Right? Exactly.
Kyle, did you say that last time after we were wrapping up, you said you had like a Reddit forum thing about being an asshole that I think we were gonna
Yeah,
do?
if you guys want to do that now, we can do that. It's so it's called Am I the Asshole?
Okay.
And I thought it would be fun because you guys have great perspectives on
being an asshole.
No, but like, well, sure, yeah. I mean, you both have known your
Could have
fair
said
share.
no. Okay, I see what you're getting at there.
Yeah,
That's a good save.
yeah.
Oh, give me
the
I've known
benefit of
my
the
fair
doubt.
share for sure.
But I think you guys are really good at breaking down situations where it can be kind of the water is a little muddy.
Okay,
So
Sure.
I think it'd be fun to kind of go over a post and
Okay.
get your guys'
love
commentary
it.
on it.
This episode of We Are New is brought to you by Cans for Cannibals. These are cans specifically designed for your cannibalistic needs. Do you need to jar your wife or grandmother or other person that you plan to consume? Do you need to ferment your father? Cans for Cannibals. Check it out. cansforcannibals.com. So, Kyle, you have a game of some kind called Am I the Asshole?
Yes.
How does this work? This is a Reddit game.
It's not really a game this time. This is more just, I thought it would be fun to engage in a conversation with you guys because
Okay.
I think you have good perspectives on like relationships and how people act.
All right.
Sounds good.
And I
So
know
you
that
tell us a situation and then we decide if they're an asshole.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll just get into. I found a post that I thought would be very interesting because it also has to deal with proposals and marriage and that
there
kind
we
of
go.
stuff. So it's recent. It's
Relevance.
current. Okay, so we'll just go off of the title is "Am I the Asshole for Keeping the Engagement Ring and Giving up Asking to Propose After Having Proposed in Front of My Parents and In-Laws." So that's the title without the context.
Okay.
The context is
I mean, I can imagine a situation where I don't even know what it would be, but like something where it's like you propose in front of everyone and their response is like mortifying. And you're like,
yeah.
I can't believe that's your answer to what I just said. Never mind. It would have to be pretty fucking extreme, though. Like, it would have to be a hardcore.
Well, it could also
like
be
you
a
shot my mom.
situation.
You're like,
Well, especially to do it in like while people are around.
Yeah.
Close
Yeah,
family.
but
front of
also
everyone,
like
yeah.
what comes to mind for me is just the pressure of that situation.
Mhm.
Like maybe the girl isn't quite ready yet and they feel obligated to do it in front of their families. And like to say no is just worse than later on, talking about like whether or not you want to do it or not. So I could see like under pressure, someone saying yes and then realizing like, oh shit, maybe not.
Oh,
okay,
right.
well, let's
Yeah,
get some
yeah, yeah.
context because this is definitely it all depends on what she
Yeah.
said.
There are a lot of scenarios that could come to mind for this. Yeah, absolutely.
So what happened to this fellow?
Okay, so this guy is a 26-year-old
Human man?
Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, no, it says
Dog man.
It says my 25-year-old female. So it's the poster is a female. My girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
My girlfriend Molly, who's 26-year-old female, for the last 6 months started with this joke that I've already made clear that I don't like. The joke is that she consistently says no quickly to anything that I ask. I know that it sounds silly, but I ask her to get a glass of water for me. She says no. After a minute, I'm almost getting up. She says, I'm just joking, and get some water.
I do that to you, but much quicker and less annoying.
Yeah, you don't let it sit.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If she's like, hey, babe, will you do this? I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I do it immediately. But I do say it because it's part of my contrarian, like, don't tell me what to do. And I get that out by
Yeah.
saying no,
Yeah.
but not meaning it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a joke. And this chick hates it as much as I'm sure my wife does. Go on.
And I know it's not that bad, but she says here, she made it very clear she does not like the joke.
Got it. She's like, fucking stop doing that.
Yeah. So like I ask her to wash the dishes. She says no. I say, I love you. She says no. I asked her to take her clothes. She says, no, everything is joking. And after 30 seconds to a minute, she'll do it.
Right.
But she is addicted to doing this no thing.
Wow. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, I've already made it clear several times that I don't like it, even more so in the I love you. She's the only person that I can say that because she's so special to me. There are things that are serious and I need her to answer seriously. And if she says no to everything jokingly, I can't tell what she's saying.
Like at this point, I don't know what's real.
I can't tell if it's a real no.
Right.
Exactly. And she says that situation has already happened.
So then what happens with the proposal?
We're getting there. Okay. So I keep saying this is boring. I guess they just don't like the joke. I don't like it. She stops doing it and goes back to doing it after a week. So they continuously have this thing where she does it and then she goes back to it. After a brief discussion, because she played this prank in front of our friends where she said, I love you. And she said, no, she stopped doing it for 1 month.
Okay.
So up to this point, she hasn't done it for a month. So yesterday,
feeling safe.
So yesterday we welcomed my parents, in-laws, and our 2 best friends to our house. Everyone knew that I was going to propose to her, and because I called them because we always planned,
that's what you're doing.
We always plan this proposal with our loved ones attending.
Okay.
So they had discussed it and wanted.
They know what's going on.
They wanted people to be there. If me personally, I don't want a crowd for this, but they wanted
we did it in a cabin in the woods.
Right.
Get away from me.
They talked about having their loved ones participating in this special day. Okay. So I asked her to marry me, and she said a quick no. I was so grumpy, panicky, and upset, and everyone else is looking in shock. For 30 seconds, she sits there for 30 seconds.
She plays the full version.
Yeah. So
wow.
So the poster is panicked, upset, and waiting for 30 seconds for her to laugh and say that she's joking. Finally, she does say yes. She says, I was so embarrassed and disappointed. There's a question mark. Doesn't really know how to express her feelings.
Not processing. Got it.
So I put the ring back in the box and I said I'd take it out. I put the ring back in the box and said that I'm going to go out to cool off. I didn't even let her say anything. She kept texting me, tried calling and saying it was just a joke and that I knew she always did that. She said that I left her in a difficult situation. Sorry, the poster kind of is...
This is such a distinct story. You have my permission to rehearse these a little bit before we shoot the show next time.
I read it. I did read it yesterday, but it's I don't think English is their first language, so I'm trying to, as
you're
I'm
piecing
reading
some together for us.
As I'm reading, I'm correcting the language, and sorry. So she said that I left a difficult situation in the house because it was very clear that I had given up on proposing and did so in front of my parents and in-laws. She stressed that I was making the situation uncomfortable because of a silly joke. Well, I slept in a hotel. I'm still in it. My parents supported me, but my in-laws have been calling me an asshole for giving up on proposing, disproportionately humiliating their daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
So each parent took their kid's side, which is reasonable.
Yeah.
Man. It's one thing
who
if
fucked
you're
that up?
It's one thing if you're like joking about something, but if your person is saying like, stop doing that, I don't like that, that's annoying, like over and over again.
Making it clear.
Yeah, making it very clear, like I don't think this is funny.
Right.
I think there's a limit to like how much someone can tolerate until it's like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like I'm trying to be really sincere and think about the person who's proposing, like their perspective. They're nervous, they're scared, they're excited. Like they have all these emotions happening and it's in front of their loved ones. And so it's even, that's heightened. Just like it basically is.
Well, and what are they getting at, right? Okay, so I understand this notion. It sounds like the person who's making the joke. Can we give them names? I'll make them up because I don't want to. So we're going to say Stephanie and Tiffany just because those are my go-to girl names. So let's say that Stephanie is the one proposing. Tiffany's the no girl. So Tiffany, I can relate to because when I was way younger, not 34 years old, but when I was like 15 years old, I would make jokes or get on a fucking thing that other people were like, okay, like it's not funny anymore, fucking done. And to be fair, continuing to do it to bug them was part of the joy. And there's phases, right? You start doing something, maybe it gets a reaction for a little while. Then you have the little phase where it's kind of not getting a reaction and no one's really saying anything. Then you have the phase where you're still doing the joke and they're like, you should fucking stop doing this joke. It's driving me crazy. And you're like, poking the bear. That's still fun. Then you have phase 4 where they've made it clear that they don't fucking like it. It's not getting a fun response anymore.
Yeah.
And you can't be still enjoying them being frustrated because the first few, that wears off. You know, you do something that bugs somebody and you're doing it because bugging them brings you joy. And then eventually it doesn't. And I'm like, once you're in phase 4, what's the point?
Right.
Like, why are you doing this anymore? We have a thing where when I back up the car into the parking space, it has a rear view camera where we have tandem parking and we back up in front of Kyle's car, right?
Yeah.
Initially, not because I wanted to bother you, but because I thought it was the appropriate amount, I would back up what I considered all the way, and you would be watching the camera like, babe, you're going to hit Kyle's car. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And I would
It's
go
an illusion.
I would go all the way back. And then we would get out and I'd be like, babe, look, we're still 4.5 feet away. We got plenty of room. You're like, it just freaks me out to watch the video. Then there was a phase when I would back up extra close to Kyle's car because I knew it made you squirm in the passenger seat. Like, oh my God, you're going to fuck the car up.
I'm really glad to hear of my involvement in this joke.
Yeah, you're a part of the story.
Yeah, I hadn't heard this before.
And then there's a next phase where you're like, oh my God, you got to stop doing that. And I'm saying, I'm not any longer getting joy out of fucking with you. I'm literally just backing it up all the way. This is where I think the car goes.
Right.
And I want to make sure that when they pull the trash can out, because it's close to our car, the big dumpster, they don't hit the car. So there was a phase where I was fucking with you.
Yeah.
And after a while, that lost its flavor. So when you go past that, and this lady, I don't know how old she is, but Tiffany doing the like fake
26.
26, dude. Come on. It's not landing. Read the room. Get a new joke. Is there something else going on?
The big question I have, though, is do the parents of both of them know that she does this ongoing joke?
I'm sure she explained
I think
it in
once
the room.
it all blows up, they definitely find out because there had to be 4 parents, let's say, in the room when Stephanie left going, what the fuck is going on right now? You said no, and then we all sat here in silence, and then 30 seconds later, you're like, yes. They either knew it ahead of time and were like, oh, she's doing that cute thing. And the other 2 parents are like, oh, she's doing that fucking annoying thing. Or nobody knew about it, and they all stood there like, what did we just watch?
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't a proposal normally... And then you also have to add on to the Tiffany thing, like, okay, your joke hasn't landed this whole time for a while.
Yeah.
So much so that in not a joking manner, Stephanie's like, you have to fucking stop doing that. Even if you're still pushing her, you're going to push it during the proposal in front of the parents. You know the joke isn't working anymore.
Right.
It would be one thing if it was like a cute thing that she liked. Even then it would be a little bit like, I can't believe you did that fucking joke in front of my parents.
Right.
I'm proposing. They don't know you do that.
And again, up to that point, she had stopped doing it for about a month.
So it was a total misdirect. She was like, I thought we were done with this.
Yeah, exactly. So
Can
she decides to bring back the joke
So-
at the worst possible time.
I definitely think
You think
that,
Tiffany's the asshole?
Yeah.
We can agree on that.
100%.
Here's the thing, though. And this is maybe, let's go into the therapist brain a little bit here, babe. And you tell me your opinion. Is there something else going on here where Tiffany is like, maybe she has like a subconscious problem with how maybe bossy Stephanie is, or how type A, like Monica Geller, domineering she can be. And this is her little bit of, I'm not saying it's okay or that it ended up being appropriate, but I'm trying to wrap my brain around like, why are you still doing the fucking joke? It doesn't work and she doesn't like it. Is there something going on where it's like, that's where she takes her little power back? Because this chick's always fucking bossing around telling her what to do in a way that's not cool.
That is an interesting point, actually, because the wording of this, and I noticed when I was reading it, is like, like I ask her to wash the dishes. I ask her to pick up her clothes.
Or like errand or like chores. Like
yeah, but she's like asking.
Every time I ask her to do her fucking chores, she makes this little joke.
But that can go both ways too, because it's like they're both adults.
Right.
Maybe she resents her for being like, I can take care of myself. You don't need to tell me to do these things.
Yeah,
There's clearly a communication problem happening here. Someone's not being honest about how they really feel.
And if that's the situation, that's a bigger issue of like, do you want to marry someone like that? Like, you should get to the bottom of why that person is still doing that joke that fucking annoys the shit out of you.
And why does it annoy the shit out of you? Like, if it's still a thing, like, I get why it sounds annoying, but I'm just saying, like, I bet it also bothered, because it bothered her to begin with. I don't think she ever thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Maybe once she did it and she was like, oh, okay, well, you're still doing it, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm doing it. And you're like, okay, that's fine. I'm cool with it. But then like the second or third time, she was like, I hate that shit. And it's because I think Stephanie's bossy and she's like telling her what to do. Tiffany's trying to take a little bit of power back in her. Like, I'm going to always tell you no real quick, even though I'll do it. And because that's what's in me when I do it to you. Yeah. But you don't boss me around a lot, but that's my little like, I don't want to be told what to do ever. So my little power back is like, no, fuck you.
But maybe Stephanie is more like doing the adult, you know, chores and stuff.
Maybe Tiffany's fucking lazy.
Yeah. And she's just like, fucking do it too. Like, do it yourself.
They're not having a clear and honest conversation about, it sounds like mostly chores and mundane shit. You and I were just talking about this, like, fuck it, was it this morning or yes? It was yesterday. I was like, I love that we have this great balance of like doing shit around the house and we don't have the resentment where either one of us are ever like, are you ever going to fucking help out? Like we had a plan yesterday to go grocery shopping. We were going to get to fucking 100 degrees in all of Los Angeles this weekend, Labor Day weekends when we're recording this. Super fucking hot. We don't want to go outside. We want to just stay inside all day, but we really needed groceries that day, yesterday. And we were both like, well, I guess we'll get up around 8 or 9 or whatever. And when we're both up, we'll get up and we'll go to the grocery store. I got up at 6:30 and immediately was like, fuck it. I'm going myself now at 6:30 in the morning when it's empty, when it's cooler. I've got the energy right now. I'm just going to knock this out. You woke up, grocery store errand was done. You didn't have to do anything. It wasn't a gift to you. That was a side effect of the fact that I was like, I don't want to wait around for 2 hours and wait for the store to get busier and for it to get hotter. So I'm going to go myself. Then I went to work editing on my computer after I put all the groceries away. You got up. I was like, hey, babe, I already did the grocery store. You're like, great. There's always a question in the morning of who's going to take Genie out first. Are we going to do it together? Am I going to do it? Are you going to do it?
Is Uncle Kyle going to do it?
Almost never. But again, it's not his dog. But
I mean, I'm here to do it when you guys aren't around.
I know. No,
you do. Always when we're out of town.
We're very grateful for that.
It's wonderful. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, I went to the grocery store, bought all the groceries, you know, brought them home, brought them in, put them away. That's like 5 tasks. I did all that. You could take the fucking dog out. That's like what's in my head.
Sure.
Without even talking about it, you just took her out. Didn't ask me if I wanted to go. Didn't ask if I could do it. It was just like and then you went and like emptied the dishwasher. And it felt like there was this small deficit, not huge, but you recognized I did something for both of us. So you're going to do some of the stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And we just kind of have this great unspoken taking turns attitude about it, where neither of us are ever really being lazy and neither of us are ever doing all the work for the other person. Right. And I feel like that is a huge problem in other relationships, between roommates, between husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. You gotta feel like you're both punching your weight and doing your part, and no one's doing all of it, because as soon as you do, you end up with this weird no back and forward thing. And then at the end of the day, if you really hear the whole story, you're like, Tiffany's definitely the asshole for playing this game along the way. But Stephanie looks like the asshole in the moment because they were just joking around in their own way. And the parents probably think Tiffany's fucking cute, her parents. And they're like, oh, she does this little thing, whatever. Why is Stephanie so uptight? They think she's
overreacting.
Exactly. Yeah. She's being a fucking bitch about something small when this is supposed to be a big day. You canceled the whole proposal because of a little joke, but nobody is realizing or understanding what's at the bottom of that joke.
Yeah.
There's something really going on there.
For sure.
Where they have a fucking effort imbalance in their relationship that's not being talked about.
I agree.
That's what I think.
That's a good one.
That was a good one. It was a little convoluted at first, and the story was kind of long, but good thing to talk about.
They're mostly pretty long. It's a story for them to be able to air out, the context, because I imagine most people on here are posting on there. They want to give as much detail as possible to make themselves not be the asshole.
Oh, of course. And if you're telling it from their point of view, they're going to probably be for sure. All right. Can we get another one?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'll do a shorter one here. Okay. So this one, I want to hear you guys' idea of
just the title.
Just the title.
Okay.
And again, there's a lot that can go to this, but just off of the title, what would you call this person an asshole?
Okay.
Am I the asshole for ruining Thanksgiving? It's very broad, but if you ruin Thanksgiving, are you an asshole?
I mean, again, I'm just such a literal details guy. Like, it's hard for me to. I mean, can I imagine a situation where you're not? The default is you shouldn't ruin holidays with the families and stuff. But
by the way, the consensus on the last one also was that they were not the asshole.
Which one?
Of the proposal one, Stephanie.
Got it. So we're on board with that.
Yeah.
And we actually nominated a new asshole. Said Tiffany did it. Okay, so if you ruin Thanksgiving at all, I mean, like, what does ruin mean? Like, you just threw all the fucking food on the floor, or everyone had a terrible time?
Yeah, everyone's having a terrible time.
I mean, what if all the people you ruined it for are assholes?
Are assholes, yeah.
And
but that doesn't make you not an asshole.
Yeah, you're just joining the club, I guess.
Anyway, we'll move on. Okay, okay. So
it's like they're all trying to do heroin, and I just refused to do it, and I left. And you're like, well, it sounds reasonable.
Yeah,
you ruined their Thanksgiving, but they suck.
Yeah.
I need context.
All right. Yeah. So I, a 30-year-old female, met my boyfriend, a 30-year-old male, 3 years ago. This one's not as long, but it is. You'll still have to bear with me.
Okay, go ahead.
So before he was together, Jesus Christ. Okay, before me, use punctuation, people. Before me, he was together.
Hear you, but we can.
Before me, he was together with his high school sweetheart. They fell out of love and broke up. A year later, we started dating. His mom, however, was still heartbroken about it. I was very understanding and thought she needed time to get to know me. Again, these people are in their 30s.
Okay.
The ex basically grew up with them and they saw her as part of the family.
Okay.
Makes sense. So for the first year of my relationship, his mom would call me his ex's name. Until the boyfriend got angry once and told her to be nice. The mom laughed it off and said it was just a habit. And after that, she started calling me the wrong name. She uses an example here, Janet instead of Jenny.
Got it.
Oof.
So
she just can't get it right.
We'll go with her name is Jenny, but mom constantly calls her Janet or some other J name.
All right.
So I corrected her a couple of times, but she seems to like hurting me, so I ignored it later.
Oh, shit.
My boyfriend has 2 sisters, and a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, we were invited to a barbecue at the older sister's house. I was in the kitchen with my boyfriend's mom, the sisters, and one of their husbands. The older sister has then talked about how my boyfriend praised my cooking to her husband, and the mom was listening. She then said out loud, "Sure, why don't we let Janet make the turkey this year?" The sisters giggled and looked at each other, and I said, "That's a great idea." And I didn't tell my boyfriend what had happened. Sorry. On Thanksgiving, we went to his mom's house with the usual wine and dessert. And that was it. She was shocked. Everybody else was shocked as well. I said, "What? I thought Janet is bringing the turkey today." There was yelling, crying, and then we got kicked out. My boyfriend is so angry with me, he hasn't talked to me since. I think it's over, to be honest, but I still don't think I did anything wrong. Did I?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So the in-laws, the mom and the sisters, made what Jenny thought was a joke about her making the turkey for Thanksgiving. Then they went to Thanksgiving. She didn't bring a turkey with her. And the mom was like, "What the fuck? I wasn't joking.
Yeah.
Where's the turkey?"
It's because she called her Janet instead of Jenny.
Right.
So in her mind, she's like, Janet is making the turkey.
So when she shows
which is
up,
a not real person.
Right.
She's like,
so it was her way of being like, "I'm fucking Jenny and I'm not bringing the turkey because you're not calling me by my name.
Do we think that that's what it was?
That's how I interpreted it.
No, that's exactly what it was.
Okay.
So she says, the mom said, sure, why don't we let Janet, her name is Jenny.
Right.
Why don't we let Janet make the turkey this year? And she says, that's a great idea, like agreeing with her. But in her head, she's agreeing that, yeah, we should let Janet do it. The mom's thinking, oh, she's agreeing to make Thanksgiving dinner.
But there
so
is
when she
no
shows
Janet.
up, she's like, oh, I thought you said that Janet was doing it.
Honestly, from like a social worker therapist brain, I think that's amazing of Jenny
like the
to do that.
strengths-based thing?
Yeah, because like that's not her name. You're being an asshole. The mom is being an asshole by repeating this, like
refusing to learn her name if that's the case, or intentionally calling her by the wrong name because she doesn't like her.
Right.
Yeah.
So either way, like the mom's the asshole.
Right. Well, I also think that, can I be honest? Are we being honest here?
Yeah, that's what this is. We're being honest.
I think it's also like the family is being the asshole for not being okay with the miscommunication. Like, you're making a big deal out of the way that she played it. Like, the mom shows up on Thanksgiving Day, right?
Yeah.
She expects her potential daughter-in-law to have brought a turkey for all of them to eat.
Yeah.
They sit down at the table like, where's the turkey, Janet? And she's like, it's Jenny, and I didn't fucking bring a turkey. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? Can't you then just make a pizza? Like, so what that you don't have the turkey? Like,
sure.
This is also coming from someone, I fucking hate Thanksgiving food so much.
Yeah.
And so
you would much rather just have a pizza.
Well, I would prefer a pizza. That's my situation. But if I showed up to Thanksgiving dinner and I loved turkey and I was excited to have turkey for Thanksgiving, but then someone was like, hey, there was a miscommunication, to say the least. We don't have any turkey. I'd be like, okay, well, let's get something else.
Yeah, but the fact
just
that
eat something else. Who gives a shit? That's It sounds like. Well, and was it just turkey, or did they have no food?
No, she said, why don't we have, oh no, it does just say, just make the turkey. Yeah. So yeah, they didn't bring the turkey. So, but that means you're eating stuffing and mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
I mean, stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberries, all the fucking shit. And a lot of people also have a ham or something.
But for this family, it was enough to ruin it.
But
and that's bullshit.
I think it's ridiculous how the boyfriend hasn't talked to her.
That's insane to me.
Because first of all, it's not her fault.
Agreed.
Like, she just kind of played on with the joke she hates.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's fucking great.
I think it's a great, like, revenge. I don't know.
But
if
also
revenge,
the fact that the
like,
boyfriend has like once stood up to his mom, be like, she doesn't like that.
Well, and I mean, there's not any clarification on this, but he got mad that she was calling her the ex's name.
Right.
It doesn't say that he ever
Janet.
stood up to her
about the Janet
thing. The Janet, or calling her the wrong name. I think he probably just didn't like hearing his ex's name. So it was really probably more about him.
Well, then he's the asshole too.
Yeah.
I think the team asshole is that family.
I think she's better off, honestly.
100%. It sounds like they're just really rude people.
Yeah. And why would she want to like marry into that family?
Oh, God.
Well, and it just seems like, you know what it reminds me of, ironically, is that 90 Day story with Jenny and Sumit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, she's actually named Jenny, so that's appropriate.
Sure.
But the mom hates the daughter-in-law so much that she constantly creates like situations where she can fail.
Yeah.
Like, she has them go do yoga, even though she knows she's like a 60-year-old woman who's not flexible.
Oh.
And she does it so that she can be like, see how flexible I am, and you're not.
Oh,
and
my gosh, it's such a bully.
It is. And it seems like this woman, this mother, is like, either way, she wanted Jenny
to fail.
She either wanted she was hoping she would bring turkey and it would be bad, and then she could talk for years about how remember the time we let Jenny make the turkey and it was all dry,
even if
and
it was
sucked?
Delicious, she would have had something to say about it.
That would have made it more difficult, but that was her goal, was to have a shitty turkey for her to talk about. And when you make turkey every year for your family and it's your thing, like my dad used to make turkey when I was younger, and they would like deep fry it, and my family would make it. It was good. But like when you have pride in it, not only do you have pride, but everybody all year is like, oh, we got to get some of mom's turkey. It's so good. And then you show up one year and you're like, hey, mom's turkey isn't here. We got Jenny's turkey. And they're like already like everyone's on the edge of their seats. Like, how good is this going to be? Because I do recognize turkey's a big deal for a lot of people on this holiday. They don't have it all year. And then they have an actual fresh, either like baked, whatever.
Yeah.
Deep fried, whatever your turkey is, they get excited about having this one thing on this one day, and it's not the one you want. You've already set her up to fail unless it's great.
Right.
And then is the whole family going to be like, I don't know, Mom, I think Jenny's turkey's better than yours. Not in this family, clearly. That's not going to fucking go down. So she was meant to lose from the beginning. And in a way, the mom probably got her fucking wish, because she was like, you didn't even bring one?
Oh, she was
you fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Honey, I don't know if I would date this girl anymore.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Honestly, she wants to ruin Thanksgiving and make sure we don't have turkey. I bet she's in her fucking son's ear being like, don't deal with this bitch.
Well, I mean, he stopped talking to her, so probably.
Yikes. But I love Jenny. Good job, Jenny.
Yeah,
Good
move
job,
on,
Team
Jenny.
Jenny.
100%.
Not an asshole.
Not at all. Do we have one more? Another short one-ish would be good, because I like the idea of them getting increasingly more simple.
I have a short one, but it's not. Let me see. That one's long. Yeah, let's just.
I lit the bed on fire. Am I the asshole?
This one's pretty. It's not very. This is a pretty straightforward one.
Okay.
Okay. So, am I the asshole for not wanting a ring my fiance already gave to another girl?
Ooh, that's a great question, babe. You're the ring wearer. What if I almost got engaged to somebody else,
right?
But it was a different ring. I used one of their family rings, and then I didn't end up giving it. I gave it back to the family.
Yeah.
And so I've done that. But how would you feel the same way about this ring if I had given it to her and then we broke up our engagement and then I gave it to you?
I would not feel good about that.
All right, thanks for joining us, folks. Let's,
okay.
Any other thoughts about that?
How dare you? I'm just kidding.
It's still my grandmother's ring. I just almost gave it to the wrong person, but I didn't. I mean, I did, but then I got it back. And now I'm giving it to you to have for real.
I think the context of it being like a family heirloom makes it more complicated for sure.
It's worse if I had just gone to a store, bought her a ring, then got it back after we've split up and just kept it for like, this is my engagement ring that I'll
just a catch-all.
Yeah. Well, but again, it's like, it's a ring that I picked out. It depends if I picked it out because it was everything she wanted in a ring. And that, like, you know what I mean?
It would depend, though.
If my ex was like, I want this cut and it's this size.
And then you gave me that ring, even though it was from you,
fucked up.
I would, no.
The family heirloom thing makes it better.
Mm-hmm.
I would not wear that ring.
Would you be more, but you'd be more, like, torn about it if it was my grandma's ring.
Yeah, but I would still feel weird about it.
For how long? Like if I gave it to you and you took it, even though you felt weird, and then later we got married and we've been married a couple years and it was great. We're obviously crushing the last relationship. Like we're doing better than that. So it becomes yours.
I don't know.
I mean, it was already on my grandma's hand, so it's not like it's just going to be yours ever.
Yeah, it did.
It was always another bitch's ring.
No matter what, it already belonged to someone else.
Right, but it's like...
All right, let's get the context.
You guys have covered a lot of it, but yeah, we'll go ahead and read it. So my now fiance was engaged a couple years ago before we got together, and they broke up, and she gave the ring back. We've been together a few years, and a few days ago he proposed, and I was super excited. The ring looked kind of familiar, and when I asked him where it came from, he said it was the ring he gave to his ex-fiance. I immediately took it off and was like, I don't want a ring you bought for someone else. It wasn't meant for me. He got upset and said it didn't matter because it's not hers anymore. It's mine. My family and friends are split in saying that I'm the asshole, and then I'm justified. One or the other. So I don't want him to spend a whole, other $1,000 on a ring for me, but I want a ring that was meant for me, not for someone else. Am I the asshole?
Nope.
It's tough because I agree. I agree with you, babe. And I think if I was, I can only guess what it would be like if I was a lady and it was me on the other end. But a little bit of my brain can understand where the guy's coming from when he's like, I spent fucking $5,000 or something on this ring that I earned with my money. It's my ring.
Yeah.
I just almost made a mistake. And then I didn't fucking get married. I didn't marry her. Now, if I married her and we were married for 5 years and then we got divorced and I was like, give me that fucking ring back. I'm going to go give it to somebody else. That's the worst version. But he didn't marry her.
He didn't marry her, but she still wore the ring. They were engaged.
All right. I want to call my mom.
Get her opinion?
Yeah. Let's see if she answers.
I love it.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. You're on the podcast right now. We're recording it right now.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So we're playing a game that Kyle brought us from Reddit called Am I the Asshole? Where we hear a situation and then we try to guess or determine if the person in the situation is an asshole. Do you want to play real quick?
Sure, I'm in.
Okay.
I like Kyle's games.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, thank you.
So
you're welcome.
So here's the situation. We got a guy who's proposing to his girl. It's from the perspective of the girl. So we have a girl who's being proposed to by a guy, and the guy is giving her a ring that he previously gave to a different girl for a proposal, and they got engaged, but they didn't get married. They broke off the engagement. He kept the ring and he gave it to his new girlfriend. He's
an asshole.
Yeah.
Really an asshole. Oh yeah.
What if it was
no, dude. No, they're not reusable. Okay.
Yes.
What if it's a family ring?
Rings.
Yeah.
Like it was on his great grandmother's hand when she crossed the Mississippi or the Nile or some very large river. And it's the only one. And it was his only grandma, and that's the only grandkid. And he's supposed to throw that ring away now, or what happens with that?
No, but there should only been one person he offered it to go with that one person grandma and one person river.
But he thought he was in love the first time.
He's still an asshole.
Okay.
It is important to note that the scenario he just said is not the actual story.
No, I added the grandma thing just as an extra situation.
Okay, so eliminate the grandma issue family ring.
Well, in this story, the grandma's been eliminated.
Well, I hope it was a good elimination. Yeah, he's an asshole.
Okay. That was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are all on the same page for sure. I'm mostly on that page. Well, yeah, because I'm like, if I worked really hard to save up like $5,000 and then I went and I bought a ring, and it's like that's not a reflection of the first woman. That's a reflection of my hard work, and wherever that gets reflected onto, finally, and actually gets married to, that also matters.
Well, here's where I'm confused.
Son, I love you with all my heart, but I would definitely call you an asshole if you did that.
Okay, thanks, Mom.
Sure, no problem.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
I love her so much.
That was great.
She's a super fan.
Yeah, she said,
fan.
You're an asshole to me, which is not the first time that's been, she said hypothetically, but she's not wrong.
You can't disagree with your mom.
No, that's pretty good.
Great.
I would like to propose something to you two as we wrap up the show. I would like to propose that for the next episode of We Are New, that we revisit a story that happened to all three of us.
Ooh, okay.
And kind of break it down about the time we woke up with a crackhead in our house.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
You don't want to talk about that?
No, we should definitely talk about that. Yeah, for sure.
So I went on another podcast right after it happened. This was a couple of years ago, and I went through the whole story with my buddy Joe Flanders. And I would love to kind of use that as a jumping off point, and we can, assess the situation as it occurred from our perspectives.
Sounds great.
Everyone's okay with that?
Yeah. So anybody watching this, go watch that first, and then we'll break it down.
Yeah, for sure. We'll put a link over in the. No, I'm not going to do that. But,
no.
Yeah, we'll go through it. But the short version of the story is we used to live in another apartment. Kyle and I together. You were staying over. This is before we lived together, but you were there a lot. And you were staying over the night. We also had a third roommate who's quite the interesting fella. And,
oh man, yeah. What
the
a
four
character.
of us were in the apartment and woke up one morning and someone had been in the apartment for a while. They spent the whole night getting all sorts of things done, including eating all our ice cream, taking a shower, doing some laundry, all while we slept. And then we found them asleep in our living room in the morning.
Man, yeah.
Next episode, tune in. Don't miss it. We'll be breaking down that story. And look forward, please, won't you, to At the Elephants coming soon next month in October. It is a show that is my first podcast that I ever created that I've been doing off and on since 2014, if you can believe it, before there were podcasts, except there were some. But that was one of the earliest ones ever made. It was the third podcast in the history of the world. And it was great. And it's still great. I've been having some awesome conversations with some people who I went to college with in or around the same time. North Carolina School of the Arts is an arts conservatory in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and creates. They don't birth them there. It's not like a laboratory or something.
That you know of.
That's a good point. I don't know that we didn't all just return home after 18 years after
memories.
creation.
I don't know.
But no, it's an arts conservatory with a dance program and a drama program and design and production and a film school and all this. And a lot of fascinating people went to the school, and a lot of friends and people who are still artists or have moved on to other things. And we get into the industry a little bit. We talk about what it means to create things. We talk about the journeys that people have in and out of creation. And of course, it's a podcast, so all kinds of crazy stuff comes up. We talk about family and life and death and sobriety and not sobriety and everything in between. So look forward to full episodes of At the Elephants coming to We Are New Studios. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've already got half a dozen interviews recorded. That'll be dropped later. And also coming to We Are New Studios very soon is Stinky and Hooch with Molly Hopkins and Cynthia Decker. You may have seen them on some other things, but they're going to be doing a show that we're helping produce live from Livy Ray Lingerie, which is their own custom bra store outside of Atlanta. It is a fantastic show. Really enjoyed helping them make it. They're fucking hilarious. So please check out that show when it drops. You'll start seeing stuff on this channel for that very soon. Any parting thoughts, babe? Other babe?
No?
Solid?
I think that was a solid out.
Very excited for these future projects.
And it's just the beginning. We hope to have a bunch of other shows on the channel. We have to kind of build out our staffing so that I'm not, doing all of it all the time. But we have a lot of people interested in that and people helping us out. And the We Are New family is growing all the time.
Love it.
See you later, babe.
Bye.
Oh, I hate that.
That's why.
Cut that.
Yo, you watched a whole episode of We Are New, the best podcast with viewers in the double digits. I hope you enjoyed it. There's more episodes and clips available for you in these locations. So please click on them and watch them. Maybe you want to know more about us. Maybe you want to feel like you're our friends. Well, we're very selective about our friends in real life, but you can feel like you're our friend if you watch more of our content. Thank you.